So after about 10 hours or so in the truck, we are finally only about 15 minutes from our destination here in north central Kansas, which this is an annual trip. It's become an annual trip for us. So I have a couple clients that I just love dearly. They've been not only clients, but they've become great friends. And this has become an annual thing. I think this is our 6th year coming down here. And to be honest with you, before coming down here, I'd really never dove hunted before. We had attempted to back home, try to shoot one or two, but just hadn't really dove hunted. But this has become one of my favorite trips of the year. Really, it's a great one for the dogs. You know, get them kind of tuned in, ease into the season. But then, you know, my kids love eating dove. It's probably one of their absolute favorites, so I love that aspect of it. And you know, it's just, you know, this is September 1st, or tomorrow is September 1st, so I'm ready, you know, to get back in the field and get season going. So I brought Clyde, who one of my clients down here, he runs Clyde. He just adores him, so I bring Clyde for him to run. And then I brought Brock, who's just kind of my boy, so I like bringing him. I enjoy this trip with him. And then Tucker, who is my youngest all-star, and I really want him to ease him into the season. He's got a ton of potential. I think he's a big powerhouse, but I want him to watch Brock a little bit. I want to ease him into the season, and this is just a great time, you know, to do that. The big thing we are going to combat this this trip is the heat. So it is going to be over 100 degrees every day. Not really loving that. So it's going to be early mornings. I'm going to make sure I have a bunch of water. Really make sure, even in the early morning, being cautious of that, making sure I'm watching, you know, their heat level, making sure they're not getting too hot. So evening hunts will likely be out just with that heat, but if we have the right situation, maybe buy some water, something like that, we'll see. But hopefully it's morning, then we can take the afternoon to kind of hang out and enjoy the company of friendship. So love this trip. So here we go, north central Kansas dove opener. So this is generally one of our spots that we'll hit. There's water here, food here, and it's been a pretty productive spot for us in the past, so we'll see. It looks like there are a couple flying around, but still pretty early. It's not even 6 yet, so with it being as warm as it is, maybe something later on in the evening we'll come back and check. But it's good to see a few. I don't know if you can see those or not, but good to see a few flying around. And actually there's quite a few down over here flying up and down by the hay bales. So encouraging start, but we'll bounce around, look around a little bit, and make a plan for the morning. All right, so we made it. It's our little house that we stay in, and John, whose truck is over there, is already here, and I'm sure getting everything ready to go. So where we are hunting is, so John got connected with Eric, who Eric runs pheasant hunts and stuff like that as a job, and he's an outfitter. And I think he does the dove stuff is kind of like a fun preseason thing. He also does a lot of fishing. So he has, you know, a bunch of property that he has already locked down, and then on the flip side he has places for us to stay. So it's a great situation, you know, for us, and then we get to come and kind of hang out and spend some time together. So I'm really looking forward to this. But we're gonna go get settled in here and get ready for tomorrow. So get the dogs stretched out and aired out, because it's been a long trip for them too, and fun. So here we go. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Well, here we are, opening day, and I'll show you here what we have set up. So we have so Eric, who is like I said last night, guy kind of running our operation here and getting everything set up, and we're he has us on one of his properties that he actually has some blinds set up, which is actually really neat because there's very little cover. It looks like it's dark, as you guys can see, but it looks like it's probably a Milo field. And these blinds is super interesting from a dog standpoint. So I have Tucker with me, who went through his red shirt season last year. And my approach to today is I'm gonna bring Tucker and Brock out. Brock being my seasoned dog, or my veteran. And the idea here is kind of reading Tucker. I'm certainly not going to send him on the first few, kind of let him ease into it, and then kind of read him. If he's on his toenails, maybe he doesn't pick anything up today. If he's handling it well, you know, maybe he does. So he's very accomplished as far as, you know, he smashed his hunt test this year, did a great job. The training is definitely there, but now it's just kind of desensitizing him back into that hunt. And I just think he could be really, really special. That's why I'm kind of easing into it with him. But these blinds are going to offer a little bit of a hurdle because, I mean, the way these blinds are set up, that you kind of sit in them and the dogs would have to sit on the outside of them, which is something we've never done before, especially with him. So I may sit on the outside just to make him successful, but we'll kind of see here. We'll play it by ear, but here I can show you what is going on. The guys are down here. So there's John and JR kind of getting set up there, and then behind me I've got Kent, who's going to be behind me, so we're going to be in line. One of the things I love about this is the camaraderie. We can kind of, you know, jab each other and have jokes and yell back and forth, and then watch each other's dogs work, and it's really a fun thing. I've come to really enjoy this. Growing up in Wisconsin, we did not dove hunt, and if we did, it was like, let's try to get a dove. And so this is something I've really fallen in love with. So great way to start the season, and I guess we'll go get set up and get going because it's starting to get a little lighter already. So here we go. Here go the first ones. So we are all set up. See the boys here. You can tell the difference, right, between the seasoned veteran and the young gun. He's just a little stressed out, excited, but the biggest thing is he's calm, quiet, under control, which is great. And one thing that we did lead to this, I never understood why people just let their dogs run wild, whether they're walking out here while they're setting up decoys. I mean, why let them run wild and then try to make them be under control? So we're under control from the truck. We get out, we heel out here, and we sit here and heel. So the birds are starting to fly here a little bit, so we're gonna get ready and hope to kind of start picking away and have a fun little day here. Some more. Right. If he marked that, I don't know how he marked it. Oh my gosh. Here's something else, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Didn't see that on there. So we do have quite a few birds flying around. There's another one right here. We've only shot one. We're kind of letting these birds bounce in and out. Let Tucker kind of watch them a little bit. Brock made an awesome retrieval. I had no idea how he marked that, and went and stepped on it, came right back. But I want to make sure that the first one, because Tucker's been doing good, so I think I'm going to let him go get one. The first one I let him go get, I want it to be as easy as possible. So I don't want it in that long stuff. I want to be there and successful, because These dogs, they're not easy. Yeah, everybody thinks it's an early season bird and just assumes it's easy. It's not easy. The scenting conditions are terrible. They're a small bird with not a lot of scent. So it's a high level of difficulty for sure. I'm watching Clyde make a retrieve. It's kind of fun. Tucker. Good boy. Good boy, Tucker. Look at you. Drop. Good job, buddy. Good job. Like that. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, bro. Good boy. Drop. This is another one that Brock got sent on. It was way back there. Yeah, he came out, didn't have it, so I'm gonna guess we're gonna have to probably walk back in there and find it together, which is okay, but it's fine. We can't shoot because Brock's back there. This is one of those deals that these scenting conditions are just so tough. It's dry. It's already warm, as you can tell. Painting. Yep. So once in a while, what we'll do is we'll walk back there with the dogs. We'll give them one more shot, but it's back here. And you might be asking why I'm not whistle sitting him and casting him. Well, it's because I can't see him, he can't see me. Unbelievable. He is just something else. Good job, Brock. And that's why we give him the time to do his job. Good job, buddy. So this is the other thing with dogs. All those feathers that come off in their mouth. It's hot, it's panting, it's sticky. A lot of factors here. Good job, buddy. Tuck. Okay, so he went too far then. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. What do you think, bud? Good boy, Tuck. Good. Drop. Good. Good boy. Good job, Tucker. Drop. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Good boy, Tucker. Oh gosh, you're doing so good, buddy. Drop. Good boy. It is 7:54 and we are done. You can see the boys. Tucker's like, I am tired and warm. But the nice part is we got done before it got too terribly warm, which is obviously a really important deal. But there's some dove flying all over the place. But this hunt was extremely successful as far as what I was looking for out of these guys. So I know what Brock was going to do, or at least I had a pretty good idea, being that he's 8 and has hunted with me for a long time. But Tucker, you didn't know, so I knew where his training was. I knew what his capabilities were. I knew he had redshirted last year, so we should have been primed right for this. Let me go over the redshirting if you guys don't know about this. So I'm a big sports guy, so I love sports analogies. And I do a thing where I redshirt my young dogs, which means the first year, which would have been Tucker's last year, he comes on the field with me. He gets to experience everything, but he doesn't get to go pick anything up. And I promise you, it's harder on me than it is on them. But the whole idea is that there's so many things we can't train for. We can't train for the birds, can't train for all the emotion and everything that goes into a hunt. And that's usually where the wheels come off. You get a young dog that's great with training, but they go out in the field and they just get anxious and they get too excited and they can't settle down. And so that's what the redshirting does. Think about a young dog, they go in the field the first time. Naturally, they start looking around and go, oh, what's going on? Where am I, right? And they get excited. So all of a sudden, calls start going off, or in this case, gun barrels come up, and all of a sudden they get on their toenails and get edgy. And then you shoot. And then after you shoot, you send. Well, it doesn't take very long. That young dog starts counting backwards and starts going, well, I get to go when, right? And then they start breaking. So then you get frustrated, you get hard on them, then they get anxious, then they start whining, then they start, just is one thing after another. And so that redshirt season for me allows my young dogs to have a whole year of just desensitizing. And this was the result of it. I mean, this dude sat here calm, quiet, under control. He was a little stressed out, and warm, so there's panting, but I mean, that's nothing, that compared to, I don't want a dog that whines. A dog that whines doesn't make my team. I don't want to sit here and listen to whining. And I truly believe that noisy dogs produce noisy dogs. And so this was a big deal for him. He handled today really well. Now, still watching birds fly around. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to take this now and then bring it into the next few days. So this is what I was hoping for in day 1. And now the next couple days, I'm probably going to focus on each one of them. So like tomorrow, I might bring just Brock out, and then just Tucker the next day, and then maybe go just Brock, maybe go both the last day. I don't know. We'll figure out the last day. But I want to give them their one-on-one time too. I think I owe it to Brock being 8. I want him to have his time, and then I also want Tucker to be able to have his one-on-one time. He's never had that before. So I was hoping, if today did not go that well, and if I had some anxiousness or had maybe a breaking issue or something, which I did not have all day, I was super happy with that. Game plan would have changed, but really happy with how today went. And so what we're going to do is we're going to let these guys finish up. I'm going to get these guys watered. I couldn't show you guys because I only have 2 hands, but I was watering these guys a lot. This was something that even though it's not crazy hot, it is, I guess I can't see, give me 1 second, I'll tell you what the temp is. It's 63. So it's not very hot, but it's a different 63 than what we would be used to at home. But it's supposed to get up to like 98 today. So it's just a different heat. So these guys are getting warm pretty quick. So did not want to have to do an afternoon hunt, but now we don't have to. So all really good stuff. I was really happy with these guys, really proud of these guys. And then watching Clyde down the end, and then you watch Sprig and you watch Louie. I mean, these are all dogs that I trained and had a ton of time with, and so it's just satisfying to watch. Now clients and friends of mine handle their dogs. It's just, for me, it's a very fulfilling thing. So so we're gonna sit here and just kind of enjoy the morning. It's been a long training season for us, a lot of grinding, long days and everything else that goes into it. So this is a super relaxing time, and I'm just gonna put the phone down for a little bit and enjoy this. So I had to come back with a stat correction. It is 74, not 63. not sure what my phone is or what my watch is thinking. After I got done with it, I was like, 63, gosh darn it, it doesn't seem like 63. Well, it's not 63, it's 74. But it's just really important that I keep track of these guys. You can see they're doing a great job just hanging out, but just hydration, making sure I monitor them. The heat is nothing to mess with, and I really want to stress that. These guys train every single day, all summer long, so they are as in condition as they can be. So you take a dog that has not been working, has maybe been on the couch, or how about inside? If that dog is acclimated to the air conditioning and then comes out here, it's gonna be much more difficult for that dog to handle this heat. So that shock is going to be a real thing. So really be cautious of that. The heat is nothing to mess with. Knock on wood, I have not myself had any dogs go into heat stroke, but I believe that's because we're very we take precautions to make sure we don't have that. I have been at both trials and tests that I have watched other dogs go into it, and it's a scary thing and is not fun to watch. So it's just not worth it, you guys. I mean, as much as I love this, it is not worth hurting or potentially killing your dog over some birds. There's just not a bird on this planet that's worth that. So so it is something to really take into consideration, especially, and this is being stationary. This is sitting here at our side, going and getting retrieves, coming back. Now it's hot, there's very poor scenting conditions, so the dogs often with these small birds have to hunt for maybe a little longer than they would for a duck or a pheasant or something bigger. But like upland hunting, you really got to pay attention to this. You get into those early season hunts, the dogs aren't in condition, they're run. It's like, if you haven't worked out for the last year and then I'm like, hey, you need to go run a marathon tomorrow while it's 90 degrees, you're probably not going to fare too well. So this is kind of one of those those situations where I often say that we all humanize our dogs, and that's a very common thing, right? But we humanize them until it's not convenient for us to humanize them anymore, right? So we humanize them, we talk to them, we feed them 3 meals a day or whatever we feel like we should eat, and then all of a sudden when I say that to you, like, hey, you haven't worked out all year, it's 95 degrees, you need to go run a marathon tomorrow, you'd be like, like, there's no way. But then you take your dog off the couch and do the same thing. So it's just really something to focus on, because again, it's just not worth your dog's life putting them in that bad situation. So so 74, I mean, it's still not hot, but it's a different heat than at home. This is that that Kansas heat versus Wisconsin. We just don't have any kind of real heat. We have a little bit this week. My people at home are gonna be like, oh, it's hot up here, but it's just a different heat, and it does take a dog a lot of time to acclimate. So something to consider as you head out for your early season hunts. All right, guys, so we're back at the truck here, and what I wanted to do is just kind of show you guys a little something that I do. You've probably heard of tailgate checks, which is just get the dog up on the tailgate and check them, but one thing that I'm really looking for here is seeds, these grass-ons. So if you haven't heard of grass-ons, go look it up if they're in your area. We just had a dog that we had trained that got affected by it, went in their nose, it ended up going up their naval canal, and actually the eye had to be taken out because of it. So look them up, especially if they're prevalent in your area. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check him all over the place, check his ears, make sure there's nothing in here. Good. Check his eyes. Good. The feet are a big one. Okay, really make sure there's nothing in there. Good boy, buddy. You can see how willing he is to give me his body. This is something that as a puppy we start right away with. We get them desensitized to that. We are always touching their pads, touching their ears, and this is one of the reasons why. So so I'm going to kind of do a thorough check. He's going to be in a ham here as he's looking at the camera, but kind of do a little more thorough check here. I'm trying to balance the camera, but it's really important to do this. If you miss something now, it can turn into something much bigger later on. So take the 2 minutes it takes to look them over, educate yourself on the area that you're hunting, especially if it's not your home area. A lot of things you may not be familiar with, like for us as ticks, we do a lot of tick checks. Someone that doesn't have a lot of ticks may not even think about it. So really educate yourself on that. Make sure that you're keeping these guys as safe as possible. But Tucker, I'm very proud of this guy. I think he's going to be a really special dog. So check him out.